Okay, good Sunday morning, and I just want to talk about a particular issue that has come up, which suddenly on July the 1st I learned that the Commonwealth of Virginia passed a law which made any commercial business providing content where a third or more of its content was pornography, in the sense that pornography is usually understood in harmful to minors, and they have a definition of harmful to minors. Could be liable if a minor was harmed and if somebody sued them. There isn't any criminal penalty. But of course, what this sounds a lot like is the Child Online Protection Act from back in 1998, and which did have criminal penalties. That was a federal law which was struck down in 2007, and I've gone over that in the past, in the blogs in the past. I've discussed that a lot, but there's a Wikipedia article on it. I this morning told some of my followers on Twitter, I basically advised them of the recent law. There was a story in a BCC article. There's a BCC article on the issue. Virginia becomes the latest state to require age verification for online porn, and that would be Louisiana and Utah. Louisiana happens to have a pretty good system of digital ID based on the driver's license, which is supposedly very easy to implement. Virginia does not, so that's another complication. And another issue that has been raised is that on your cell phone, you can simply go to, if you go to I didn't actually do that, but if you go to Pornhub right now, you will get a warning that they are not allowing access in Virginia, as you can see from that. So if you do it on your cell phone and you turn off the Wi-Fi and you simply use the cellular wireless, in other words, in my case it's Verizon, and it has the little bars on. It has the little bars when I use it. If I disable the Wi-Fi, so that you just see the LTE on the screen, and it doesn't show a wireless. It just shows the Verizon LTE. Depends on the carrier you have. That's what I'm talking about. If I do that and go to Pornhub, then it comes up and it shows the teasers that are free. And I think it's the free teasers that are the issue. If you actually rent something online, you have to use a credit card, and that generally would imply age verification. That was how the old Child Online Protection Act was supposed to work. But it was that I remember when the COPA trial back around 2006, that the teasers was an issue. There's also the possibility of an issue with just what is a porn site. But in this case, and I've also put a page on my own blog about it, just to cover my own self, because I talk about gay issues. I talk about the legal issues and the cultural issues around like gays in the military in the past, and recently gender identity and so forth, and closed spaces in barracks and dorms and bathrooms and so forth. To talk about that kind of thing, that's not in itself adult. That's an academic subject. But I was concerned back when I was a litigant for COPA that it could be perceived that way. So if you want to actually look at not what I wanted. If you actually want to, that's a movie review. If you actually want to look at the, bill, well, I have to go back to my own link here, because I thought getting these set up so I don't have to link again is a little bit messy. But if I go back to the Virginia law itself, there it is. And I'll give you the link in the description. You can see the actual text, and it says It says that for the purposes of this section, publishing or distributing material harmful to minors on the internet, interactive computer service means the same as the term defined. Material harmful to minors means the description or representation of nudity, sexual content, sexual excitement, or sadomasochistic abuse when it appears to the prurient, shameful, or morbid interests of minors is patently offensive to the prevailing standards of the adult community with respect to minors. That was true with similar to Copeland language. When taken as a whole, is lacking in serious literary, artistic, or political or scientific value for minors. Any commercial entity that distributes on the website contains a substantial portion through the use of material commercially available. It recommends using a commercially available database that is regularly used, but Virginia doesn't really have one. Louisiana does, or another commercially reasonable method of age verification to be 18 or older. And commercial entity, there's also a provision, I'm not actually seeing it right here, but there's also a provision that more than 1/3 of the website's business contains this kind of content. I'm just not pulling it up right here right now, but that's the concern. I wanted to make you aware of that. I would wonder, personally, whether you could, whether a site like Pornhub or something could simply remove the teasers, at least in states like Virginia, and let you pay, let you rent films. You'd have to know what the films are. It could have non-pornographic images that tell you what the films are, and then let you rent them the way you would rent any movie that's rated R or X. You would have to show your credit. You'd have to have a credit card to rent it. That might work. I think that would probably be okay. So that's just my thought. I wanted to make you aware of that. I suppose there will be litigation on it. On July the 5th, I'll talk to Electronic Frontier Foundation, which I was a sub-plaintiff under COPA, and I actually went to the trial in October of 2006. I've shown you pictures of the building in Philadelphia that the trial was in before. So that'll be something I'll do on July the 5th probably. And as always, I do thank you for listening.